So one of the ways of finding out what I really want. Anybody like to know?
Yes.
Yes. Because I have to से बात कर रहा हूँ.
थोड़ा ऐसे
So one of the ways of finding out what I really want is to ask yourself. Normally, we always have this thing that this is what I want. Right? So say to yourself that statement, and then ask yourself a reason or reasons why you want, and then you'll start getting a lot of reasons. Reason 1, reason 2, reason 3, reason 4, and the moment you get more than one reason for what is that you want to do is exactly what you shouldn't be doing, because reasons come out of your mind, and what you really want, you will never find a reason to back it up. The only reason you want to do it is because you want to do it, just for the love of doing it. So when you do that, that is when everything else starts falling into place. मैं पहले कह रहा था दरवाजे काहे लगा के रखे, तोड़ दो यार.
अपना क्या जा रहा है?
So before he completely starts, can you just introduce him? I don't want to do this, but we've been forced
You're
to.
forced.
Yeah, because he's kind of my friend though. So let's see his, what do you say, brief profile as he wrote it.
As I wrote it. In your handwriting.
Yes. He says he calls himself as a new age author, past life regression facilitator, rebirthing specialist, inner child therapist, and a spiritual speaker. He's a founder of revolutionary movements like I Want a Positive Headline and I Want a Peaceful Earth. He says so, but let's see how positive he is. After the workshop, no one will go without laughing. He has such a great sense of humor. You'll surely enjoy his workshop, and also he's a great poet. So, एक कविता सुनाने को बोल दीजिए. Please request him to kind of say a poetry before release.
Yes.
Don't leave him, okay? Have a great time.
Thank you, Harika, for introducing me so nicely and putting so much load on my shoulders. Now I have to perform.
Yeah, on the show, if you want the shoulder weight to be gone, you can go to Jayashree's workshop. She's giving you shoulder massages.
So we'll start the workshop. Good. So, like she said, I actually started with the poetry. So all of those who came late, you missed it. Sorry, and that bit. So, this poem I wrote today morning only. I haven't written it yet. It's in my head. Thing is, you guys must have heard of खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर वदी से पहले खुदा तुझसे खुद पूछे कि बता बंदे तेरी रजा क्या है. So you all understand that, right? So what it means is खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना. खुदी also means God within, and खुदी also means you. So खुदी को कर बुलंद as in make it so big that before taking every act हर वदी से पहले खुदा तुझसे खुद पूछे. खुदा means God comes and asks you कि बता बंदे तेरी रजा क्या है. So what is your suggestion? What should I do? So you become so immense or so realized because khudi means the realized within. So that is the quote. That is a very famous one. So the one that I wrote today morning was खुदी में तेरे खुदा है, खुदी में तेरे खुदा है, हर बदी से पहले खुदा तुझसे खुद पूछता है कि बता बंदे तेरी रजा क्या है. बिना तेरी रजा के अगर मैं कुछ करूं तो वो मेरी सजा है, वो मेरी सजा है. So इसका मतलब तो समझ में आ गया ना? I don't have to explain. Good. So yes. So welcome to the workshop. Welcome to homework. My favorite thing. I am very popular in the academy to give homeworks. Harika is the chalta firta proof that I give a lot of homeworks.
I agree.
Yes. So the moment they said integration, this is the first thing that came to my head. Why homework should be one of the most important parts, because somewhere I believe that homework is very important. I believe that therapy has its own role. Therapy does its own part, but therapy is like, you can say therapy is like net practice. You do a lot of net practice, and homework is like going and playing in the stadium. So in the therapies, you get to know what is the technique, how to face something, how to face anger, how to release anger, how to understand things, and you go through a lot of stuff. So you have a coach with you who is training you when you are going through the net practice, and the coach tells you, this is the technique, that is the technique. But when does it all become you? Only when you go out there and practice it, right? So what is out there? Out there is the stadium, is the game called life. So I felt that in reality, sessions or past life regression, be it rebirthing, be it any other kind of therapy work, they are there. They are like using a pressure cooker to cook. In a pressure cooker, you get cooked faster, but in the process, बहुत सीटियां बजती हैं. So we all are going through those pressure cooker moments. हम लोगों की भी सीटियां बजती हैं, and that is when we come to a therapist. अरे मेरी सीटी बज गई, मेरा pressure निकालो. And the thing is, अगर pressure cooker में if we keep food in pressure cooker for a long time, then there is a chance of getting overcooked, which is normally a chance of getting burned if you don't care about your life in general also. So general life is like the non-pressure cooker cooking. So non-pressure cooker cooking में क्या होएगा? That you are sitting on the flame and you're sitting there, and one point of the time you get a boiling point and you get cooked. So that is, I can say, the unconscious way of growth. So growth is anyways happening. This thing is, say any therapy work is like hastening, the law of hastening Dr. Newton was talking about yesterday. So hastening the growth process. So therapy, any kind of therapy is basically hastening the growth process. Now the best part is that even if there is nobody around us, physically we can't see anyone, we are so safe, we can never get overcooked. Because the technology of God is so advanced, the technology of our life is so advanced that we can never get overcooked. There is never a chance, a slightest chance that you might make a mistake. You might think you're making a mistake. Just like before I told, what you think you want and what you really want, they're two different things. So in the similar way, you might think you have made a mistake, but at a later stage, at a later understanding, you realize that even that mistake was a part of your learning process. Then it's not a mistake anymore. It becomes an opportunity. It becomes something that, that was good for you. So like they say, the most successful men in the world are those people who have built castles with the stones thrown at them. So that is what we do. In therapy, we bring all those stones, and with the help of the therapist, we build a castle. And then that is what our realization is. And if we just build a castle in the therapy room, and we don't go out there and reflect that castle in our life, then it all dies. it all doesn't make any sense. So this is my own experience, from my own life experience. I've learned that it's written in Bhagavad Gita also that it doesn't matter how much you know. What matters is how much you apply. So how much are you applying? Now, coming to the therapeutic area, since there are a lot of therapists here, so that is why I chose that I would like to speak on homework in both the perspectives. One perspective is that when you are a client and you need guidance as to what to do on your own, because many people would like to do something on my own when I am going through a certain kind of a problem. And the other area, many a times, we all love to talk about the sessions that have gone great, have gone awesome, superb, and we love to talk about them. But what about those that go down the drain? How do we follow them up? What do we do about them? So this is the first thing that I was told when I came into academy, that Dr. Lakshmi called me in and she told me this, that you will come across these kinds of patients as well. In the first days, initially, the day I give a good session, the day a good session happens, now my understanding has changed. But that time my understanding was, the day I give a good session, I would feel really good. The next 2 days, 3 days, I'm flying. I'm like, wow, maza aa gaya. And then comes this client, जो मेरी बैंड बजा के चला जाता है कि भाई ये किधर नहीं जाने वाला. And I'm like, अरे यार. But now I have come to a realization that in this whole process, I have heard this during my training session, that you're just a midwife. All you can do is say push. अब अगर तुम्हारा client push नहीं कर रहा है तो बच्चा कहाँ से निकलेगा? नहीं निकलेगा. So now I have realized, actually that is the truth, that I am actually not doing anything. Many times I feel, did I really do that? Because I take my sessions very intuitively, and when the client is saying I am having this kind of an experience, whereas I go into somewhere else, I'm like, hey, there is something very new. So how do I deal with that? And I've always found this, that it comes to me, it happens. So I stopped taking the responsibility of the success or the failure. I do be there, but I don't try to become very very happy or very very sad. कभी कभी हो जाता है, but still I am also in the learning process. So based on this, I decided that yes, I want to do a workshop on homework, because that's what Dr. Lakshmi told me, that when you get a client like that, don't leave him, give him a homework. Tell him that you come after say 20 days, 40 days, 1 year, whatever you feel might take this particular person to come back to you, practicing whatever homework that you have given them. So with that note, I would like to start taking the help of this presentation that I have created and officially start the workshop. अभी तक unofficially बोल रहा था मैं. So yeah. So before going into the workshop, I would first like to thank and give my gratitude to all the masters who have really taught me everything. Whatever I have learned, whatever I am today, is because of their immense presence in my life, their guidance from time to time, and that is Brahmashri Patriji. He is the founder of Pyramid Spiritual Societies, and that is obviously everyone knows Dr. Newton. And the third one is Leonard Orr, from whom I have learned rebirthing breathwork, from whom also I have learned rebirthing breathwork. So my gratitude to all of them, and I would request all of you to please clap for them. And then I would also like to give my gratitude to all those invisible masters who many a times I hear, never see, and who have helped me. And when I say invisible masters, I also would like to take into account those people who come into my life and vanish. Like two people are sitting right next there. In fact, I would say three. So, these people are those people from whom I have learned a lot, from whom they teach me, and they don't even call themselves guru. They just come into my life when I need something the most. They come and they go away. So, but they leave an imprint on me. So, I would like to thank all those masters, visible and invisible. So, one more round of applause, please. And giving my gratitude to all these people, I would also like to thank one more person, a very important person in my life, without whom probably nothing of this would matter. And that is me. Because if I wouldn't have decided to learn, the presence of these people would not make a difference. And I think you all also understand that it applies to you also. So, some rules: just switch off your mobile phones or put them on silent, no vibration please. And please, during the workshop, don't put hands folded. Just leave them. The reason is very simple. When you study body language, hands closing is, I'm not interested in this subject. So, normally it is not a conscious choice that I'm not interested in the subject, because you're interested, that is why you're here. But it's a subconscious choice. Subconsciously we make that choice. And the only reason we make that choice is because it is something new. It is not because you don't like it. It is just because, see, your hands are folding. Yeah, it is something new. Accept it. Be with it. You don't have to, really dislike something that is happening and close yourself off. So just be open. Accept it. And see what happens if you accept it. So these are just the two rules. Now, before starting the workshop, I would like to introduce three very important findings that the recent scientists have found out. And the recent finding is that there is a field, whereas the world that we are living on believes that there is no field. And based on that is the current allopathy system, the current construction business, the current advertising agencies, the current everything that is existing, every great industry that is existing out there is based on the finding which was found long back that there is no field. But now, very recently, I think in 1970s or something, this particular thing that I'm talking about came in a magazine called Nature, which is a scientific journal, and it was published there. And the finding was that there is a field, and they have defined the characteristics of the field. The characteristics of the field are that it is an intelligent field of energy that unites the universe. It is an intelligent field of energy that unites the whole universe. So it is not just there, but it has an intelligence as well. So which is a very important thing for us to know. Though as a therapist we all know that, but I'm just putting it across. Then our bodies, our world are materialization of the field. So that means our bodies, as in the matter with which our body is made, as well as the matter that we see. Let us say this table. Everything, the chair that you're sitting on, everything is a materialization of that field. As in, it is the same matter. So if we put it into the perspective of science, we can say that the most common atom or most common molecule that is found in every matter, even in human body, which is made of, is of carbon. So carbon is present everywhere, scientifically speaking. But we need to go a little bit beyond that. That everything is a materialization of this field. And the third one is that we need to discuss, we need to talk with this field. So how do we communicate with this field? How do we communicate with this field is emotion. Emotions is the language that translates the quantum possibilities of the field into the reality of our world. So, the language with which we are conversing right now is English. Similarly, the language with which we communicate with this field is emotions. So we can take a very famous quote from Bhagavad Gita, and the quote is Yat bhavam tat bhavati. It is not yat thoughtam tat bhavati. Yeah? So normally the moment we say Yat bhavam tat bhavati, and people start saying, यार मैं तो सोचे जा रहा हूँ कि भाई मेरे को अमीर बनना है, अमीर क्यों नहीं बन रहा? Why am I not becoming rich? Even though I am thinking of becoming rich, I am not becoming rich because you're not feeling rich. You know? So, what is feeling? Feeling is a combination of thought and emotion. So, if you have just a thought, it won't help you until you have the relative emotion which pushes it forward, not backwards. Because there is an emotion that can push it backwards also. We'll go into that. So, I'd like to give a very good quotation by Rumi, and it says, "What strange beings we are! We are sitting in the hell at the bottom of the dark, and we are afraid of our own immortality." So, pressure cooker में pressure बढ़ता जा रहा है, सीटी बजती जा रही है, but हम pressure release करने को ही तैयार नहीं हैं. Why? Because we are scared of getting cooked. We are scared that I'll become a ready meal. We are scared that I have reached my destination. Because we live in an illusion that destination पे सब खत्म हो जाता है. Which they both proved very well yesterday that you're already perfect. You're just increasing your perfection. And it's never going to stop. The only reason we are scared of that is probably because we feel that we will stop there. And many people have this feeling, the moment I get enlightened, that's the end of the journey. After that, life will be wonderful. Many of us are on this spiritual journey. I started my spiritual journey like that only. I used to think that once I become enlightened, that was my target in my life, 16 years back, that I wanted to become enlightened. I wanted to, become the God. I want to become that. And in the process I realized, भैया वो बनने के बाद भी खत्म नहीं होने का. So this particular quotation actually points out to the very core fear that we all have. We think that the fear of death is the deepest fear, but this fear is even deeper than that. Because death is something that we have experienced many a times. But this experience is something that we are so scared of. It is at the bottom. And there's a reason why we have created this fear in our system. It is a functional fear. It is a very important fear for us to have. The fear of our own immortality. Immortality as in, you can say, enlightenment or our own light or things like that. So, the purpose of this fear is so that we do not misuse our power. And this fear comes into existence only after we have misused our power somewhere or the other. So, like I was saying, that emotions is the language with which we communicate with the field. So I would like to share a story with you here. It is a story of a twin. This twin was born in US, and they were a premature twin. And in US, the protocol is the moment you have a premature baby, even though they are twins, the first thing that they do is they get them out, they clean them, and they put them into their own separate incubators. And so that's the protocol that was followed. And in both of those girls, one of the girls was good enough, strong, surviving. The other was losing her vital signs. She was kind of depleting. And the nurse who was in charge there, she was like, I have to do something about this girl. What do I do? What do I do? And then she gets the idea that I have to break the protocol. She takes the other strong girl, puts her beside this weak girl. And the moment she puts her beside this weak girl, this strong girl puts her hand on this weak girl. Okay? No, let me remind you, these are babies who are like 2-3 hours old. Okay, 2-3 hours. Okay, and this girl puts her arm around, and the other one, vital signs start increasing. This is a photograph of those babies. Now my question to you all is, one, what are you feeling right now? And two, how did a few hours old girl or a child come to know that this particular action will save, or there is something called as this particular action? Hugging. We hug each other, right? How did a 2-year-old girl have that?
2 hours.
Yeah, sorry, 2 hours. So what I want to say is that this is all inside us. This is who we are. And that is the reason the moment you hear the story, you see the image, immediately you all connect to the same feeling. Probably the same feeling that that girl went through at that particular time. So this, in a way, I wanted to share to let us all know that we are all actually connected. If we choose to feel, if we just choose to feel, we can. And it is not something that we have to learn. It is all in there. All we have to do is unlearn whatever is holding us back from becoming that. So that unlearning process is what we go through during our sessions and probably the after therapy work as well. So now, if the act of looking at something is creating that something, what happens when you're looking at your body, the lump or a disease? So, we all understand about the law of attraction, right? Whatever we focus on. So, it is focused consciousness creates reality. It is not consciousness creates reality. It is focused consciousness. So, who is the one who is focusing? We ourselves. So, what are you focusing on? So, and what if, when you look at your body and you say, what a body? You know? See, if the opposite is true, the opposite is also true. Right? So if you can create something that is not good for you, it proves that you are a creator. Though you are using it in the wrong direction, that's a different story. But it proves if you were fearing something and that fear manifested itself, it's a very damn truth that you are the creator. You're creating the reality. So all you have to do is shift your focus. So how do we shift that focus is what we'll be going into. So it all depends on our belief. So why? Because we live our lives based on our beliefs. Everything that we see, like they say that you don't see the world as it is. You see the world as you are. Like they also say that, if somebody is judging you, they are not judging you, they're judging themselves. So everything, every little minute detail is within our belief. Whatever we believe is what we become. That is what Buddha says. What you believe is who you become. So, where do our beliefs come from? And how powerful